Welcome to the Sounds on Vinyl show, the only show in the freaking world that has a bunch of Vikings sitting around drinking out of the horns, drinking whiskey, and talking about vinyl records. You've got it right here. My name is Phil Boyer, and with me every single week is my brother from another mother, Mr. Viking extraordinaire, Professor Rockstar, Mike Svensson. Mike, how the hell is it going?
Oh, I missed those intros, man. Oh, it's just beautiful. For me, we got to stop right there because I don't know how to top that. But it's good.
Well, we'll be topping that at the end of the show. We got something really fucking cool for you guys.
Yes.
But until then, we're going to dive right into this thing, and we're going to be talking about a record that I'm actually surprised we haven't talked about before. In all the years we've been doing this, and all the episodes that we've been doing this, we have not talked about this record. But before we get to that, you got a few records, so that you got this week. So what's new? What's new in Mike's collection?
I got some good stuff here. I got this one.
Peter Criss.
Another copy of Peter Criss. It's his first solo album. I should know this, but it's like you have your favorite, and my favorite is Gene. So and I think that Peter is a whiny little bitch, but you can't say that on a show in front of people. So I just did. So I haven't been following him that much, but he released 2 albums right after he split with Kiss, and this is Let Me Rock You, and he put out another one called Out of Control, and I can't for the life of me remember which came first, but it's interesting because it's produced by Vinny Poncia, who did Dynasty, and if I remember correctly, he didn't want to work with anybody else because he was a big famous rock star. So, and he didn't need Kiss anymore. He's Peter Criss. He had a hit song with Beth, and so I'm good on my own. Fuck Kiss. I'm going solo. And look what that
didn't really.
No, it didn't turn out. No,
it didn't really work out the way he had planned.
No, but it's when you're like me, you collect stuff and you find this for fairly decent price. It's up to like $30-40, and I found this for like $10. Which is sort of like right over 100 Swedish crowns. So I couldn't pass that up, even though I think he's I've said it. So
a whiny little bitch.
A whiny little bitch, yes.
Okay, so who's more of a whiny little bitch, Peter Criss or Dave Mustaine?
I think Dave is. Because he had a career. He has a career. Peter didn't have a career. He was in the band from like 1973 till 1979. I think Dynasty, he did like 2 drum tracks on that one, 2 or 3 songs. And then his makeup and his persona was a part of the packaging deal, but he was out of the band late 79, early 80s, something like that. And but he was not out of the company, so he went to meetings until the mid 80s. So he was a member of the company, which is Kiss. And he went to some meeting and so forth, even though he wasn't in the band anymore. But he didn't have a career after he quit Kiss. On the other hand, Dave Mustaine had a really good career and still does have a really good career, but still whines like a whiny little bitch about not being in Metallica, which is, I think, it's a damn shame because, as you know, I'm not a big fan of Megadeth, but talking about a metal band, Megadeth is a part of the big four. So why do you need to bring that up every single time you talk about stuff? How Larson was so nasty to me. I don't get it. I mean, the guy sold records for crying out loud.
Yeah.
He's still in a big band and still plays shows and releasing albums and so forth, which is, well, good for him. But I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Before we move away from Peter Criss, a quick question for you. So, are you buying that as part of your Kiss collection, or are you buying that because you like it and you want it in your collection?
Both.
Okay.
I had this on cassette tape when I was growing up, because cassette tapes were really big, as we talked about before, when you're riding your bike with your boombox or meeting up with your friends. So I had it on cassette tape, and I remember vividly in the early 80s I had it on vinyl, but I think I traded it for because it's not metal music or hard rock. It's like a combination of soul or jazz and entertainment, and it's all over the place. So I'm guessing I'm 15, 16 years old listening to this and saying, what the fuck? What's this? That's crap. I need to trade this.
What is this crap?
Because that's what I did when I was a kid. I traded stuff off. So, you got a better copy of this one, and I got this, and you should get this because this is great, and I need that because alive. I don't know, something like that. But since it's like when I find we're getting to that in the later episode. I found some Beatles albums, and I'm not a huge Beatles fan. I like the songs. It's like ABBA. I can sing along to them. So when I found stuff like that for a decent price, I have to buy it. I have to rescue it from that bin.
Give it a good home.
And it's the same with ABBA. I mean, ABBA of course not now since they're back, but a year ago, 2 years ago, you can buy, and perhaps you can still buy, all of their albums in the dollar bin. So I have to, every time I find a decent copy of ABBA, I have to pick it up because it's worth a better destiny and to be in that bin. So and you stand there and you watch. It's the ABBA stuff. It's almost like first press Swedish Polar from the Polar studio, and they had a record label too. So it's on that label. And how can you miss out on that? It's part of your DNA.
There you go.
It is.
That's right.
So,
all right.
So,
what else
and
you got?
the next one. See if you can know what this is. This is Samson.
Samson. There we go.
Yeah. Ever heard of them?
I've definitely heard of Samson.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So this is cool because it really has. Oh shit! It's a gatefold. I have to do it like this. Can you see?
Yeah.
Who that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's that? Who's that? That little
That's Bob
Brucey
Hope
boy.
right there. That's Bob Hope.
Bob Hope. Yeah.
It's Bob Hope. Not many people know that Bob Hope was the original lead singer of Samson.
Yeah, you see? So this is, and he's on the back too. Of course, we're talking about Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. Yes. This is a great shot of him too. So this is it was released in early 90s, and this is a reprint from it's that famous label called Back on Black, which is from 2017. And I found this for like $5. And I couldn't pass on that.
No, man.
So that was pretty cool. Or maybe it was $10. I can't remember. I'm buying so much.
Either way.
So either way. So this is live
early
at
Bruce
Reading.
Dickinson, man. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. No. So this is apparently the last show that he ever did with Samson before joining Iron Maiden. So it's 1981. And Number of the Beast was released 1982. So this is supposed to be the last show that he ever did with Samson. And what a way to go out, if you will. Yeah. And you can hear that he was destined to do more great things than Samson, I'm sorry to say, because Samson, not so much. But Bruce Dickinson, oh yeah. There you go.
Yeah, Bruce Dickinson carried that band, if we're being honest.
Oh yeah. So and my friend Henrik, he hooked me up with this one. He owns a record store, as you know, and this is actually a U.S. pressing of Asylum. Kiss.
Wow.
Asylum. Yeah, from
Look at
1985. 85. So this is pretty cool. I didn't own a copy of this before. Turn it the right way.
So this is your first copy of this record?
No. It's the first U.S. pressing. Oh, what are you talking about?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you can see the Kiss logo here.
Yes, you can.
And I think I got a German pressing and I got a Dutch pressing, which doesn't have the logo on my other records. So I had to buy this. I got it really cheap because he feels pity.
Have you ever passed up a Kiss record? I mean,
no.
Okay.
Never. What kind of a question is that?
What kind of question is that?
Of course. If it's in really bad shape, of course, I would never buy it. It has to be in a decent condition. I'm not gonna buy an album that's got tears and extensive hairlines and grease all over it. So covers ripped apart or something like that. Then I would pass on them. But if it's a decent copy and it's for the right price, I mean, nowadays people think that if you buy Beatles albums or Rolling Stones or Kiss, you can charge, abusive amount of money. I mean, for a regular Kiss album, like a Destroying or Swedish pressing, you shouldn't pay more than $10 or $15. And you see them for $30, $40, $45, $50. And it's not even original pressing. It's not a U.S. pressing. It's a Swedish or a Dutch or whatever. And people are losing their fucking minds. I don't know what's going on, but still, it's crazy. So that's my latest finds.
That's what you got. All right.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So what are we talking about today? Oh, I'm so excited.
I think it's time to go to 1983.
Oh, man.
Go to the Bay Area, Northern California, United States.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a little band that, I don't know, not many people have heard of them these days. You know, they're not really all that popular.
Oh, that's too bad.
But it's a little band called Metallica.
Oh!
And they did this record way back in 1983 called Kill 'Em All.
You see? Kill 'Em All.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
There we go.
Just a beautiful thing right there. This is a record that we've covered Metallica. You guys know we've done Metallica so many times. The infamous Black Album show that we've done. That's one of our most popular episodes we've ever done for this show. It's kind of crazy, but Kill 'Em All was my introduction to Metallica, and so that's why I'm so shocked that we didn't even start with this one. Like this, that we've never talked about Kill 'Em All before.
So what's wrong with you? Doing the Black Album before we do Kill 'Em All?
I know. What the hell, man? What the hell?
What
I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with me, but in that particular case, I don't know. I don't know what.
Oh man. Oh geez.
No, this is just a phenomenal record. I listen to this thing.
It is.
Like at least multiple times a week.
Oh yeah. It summons up things really well when I said bang that head that doesn't bang. I mean,
that's right.
And look at those kids right there. Look at those kids. It couldn't be any better. I mean, it's crazy. And just a quick one. They were supposed to name this album something completely different. Have you heard this story?
No, I have not.
No. So the name of this album, I bet you've seen it on T-shirts. It was supposed to be called "Metal Up Your Ass."
Oh,
and
that's right.
Have you seen that with the toilet bowl?
Yeah.
And
right.
the knife sticking up, and the record company said, "No chance in hell. We're putting out an album that's called Metal Up Your Ass with it's oh no, ew, parental advisory. Fuck it, there's a knife and it says ass." So they got really mad at the record label and said, "Kill 'em all."
Yeah, there we go.
So, and if the story is true, I don't know. I've heard James and Lars talking about this, but if it's completely true, I don't know. But who cares? It's a good one. It's a good one.
Oh, it's amazing. It's an amazing one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What can we say? We need some facts. I'm getting so excited here. It was released on July 25, 1983. And through an independent label, Megaforce Records, of course. And right after this, they began playing shows at local clubs in the LA area. So, and recorded several demos before this was released. And of course, they needed this guy over here. Where? There, you see? Can you see it? Who he is? It's Cliff Burton, for crying out loud. So they relocated from the LA area to San Francisco because Cliff, he said, I'm not moving. I'm not moving out with those posers in LA with the Sunset Strip and all that crap. I'm staying here in San Francisco. You guys have to move. And they said, yes, we're going to come to you, Cliff. Don't worry. So that's some short info for you right there.
There you go.
So and
we
discovered
we talked about the whiny little bitch Dave Mustaine before, and he was a big part of this record, actually.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy. I mean, it's still. I don't know. I have 2 copies here. This is pretty fun because shown you this before. It's
Ooh.
It's on a red slab of vinyl.
Wow.
What do you know?
Now, how does that
pretty
sound?
Cool.
Because we talked about some of these different color records and stuff not necessarily having the best sound. So
no,
always.
And Soren said, well, nowadays it doesn't matter. It's some of the color ones. He says has even better sound, which I think it's a load of burp. I prefer the black ones. I'm not a big fan of color vinyls. I think it's pretty
So you
cool.
you prefer the Black Album over
Yeah, yeah.
Metallica Kill 'Em All Red album?
Oh, there
Sorry,
you go.
I had to go there.
Yeah,
I had to.
you had to go. Yes, you had to. And this is the copy that I got when I was a kid, and it's a gatefold. Looks like this.
Nice.
With I'm just gonna move my microphone so you can see all the pictures. See?
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that.
Raw stuff right there. Look at those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh man. Music for Nations. Limited edition directly on Metal Monster double LP. So I think this runs in 45 RPMs, but it's a cool one. I mean, Metallica. So going back to you, this is your introduction. So you were first with, because I discovered them on Ride the Lightning, but so
on Ride the Lightning. Okay, all right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So but I was a freshman in high school. I don't know if I've told the story before, but I was a freshman in high school, and I hung out with older kids.
Yeah,
and one day, one of my friends, they came up and said, "Hey," handed me that record and said, "We got to go listen to this." So we went down the hall of the high school to the music room that had these big giant ass fucking speakers, right? I mean, they're like what you'd see at some venue, right? And so he pops this in, and the beginning of Hit the Lights comes on, and it's just like, fucking hell, man. Fucking hell. Just blasting this thing. Everybody from like in 100 feet in every direction could just feel the vibrations off this thing just cranked up. And I'm like, this is fucking amazing. And I'm like, can I borrow this? And I took that fucker home, and I kept it for a week, and I recorded it obviously on a cassette tape, but I just listened to this motherfucker over and over and over. And this was like the heaviest thing I had ever heard before. I mean, I was listening to Scorpions. I mean, this is what, 1984 right now. It was Scorpions, it was Van Halen, it was, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
So that just sent me into the more heavy stuff from that point on. But yeah, this was just an amazing record.
And it's funny that you mentioned this being so floored by Metallica, because that was my first interaction with Metallica, but with Ride the Lightning. I went to a friend's house, and he just bought Ride the Lightning, and he said, "You gotta listen to this. This is a band called Metallica. I've heard the name before, but I didn't associate the band with a specific song. I later remember the first song I heard on radio was Motor Breath, but I didn't connect the dots." So I'm sitting there and listening to the intro for Fight Fire with Fire going on, that dan, 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 and and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like you, yeah, and I'm like you. I listen to, Kiss, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, AC/DC, of course, and Whitesnake. I was heavily into Whitesnake at the time, and all of a sudden this band comes onto the scene, and I'm thinking, what the hell? I remember a friend of mine had a Venom on cassette tape, an album called At War with Satan, with the crosses up and down, and I'm sort of like, ooh, that's scary stuff. Ooh, no. Devil worship. I don't know. So I didn't pay much attention to Venom. I thought that was just rude listening to that rude music. But these guys could play, and I remember going out and buying this album, Ride Lightning, of course. And then the guy at the record store said, so you're a Metallica fan? Yeah. So you have the first album too, I bet? No. So they got another album? Yeah. And he brings out Kill 'Em All. And I'm looking at this and going, whoa. I mean, the hammer and the blood and the hand, and I studied this cover, I mean, a million times, thinking that it's not Somewhere in Time with Maiden where you have to go like this with the loop and magnifying glass. Yeah. But still, I was so mesmerized by looking at this cover, and now I had two Metallica albums, and I'm sitting there in my room with my headphones, listen to this album. I'm thinking, whoa, this is even rawer than Ride Lightning. What the fuck? Hit the Lights, Four Horsemen, Motor Breath, Jump into Fire, Whiplash, Phantom Lord, No More More, Seek and Destroy, and Metal Militia. Oh, man. Fuck me. You see? Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah. I'm out of air.
Talked about how you talked about how raw this was, but if you go to the cassette tape, that if you're lucky to find it, the No Life Till Leather, cassette, they're with all the demos. Talk about raw. Those demos were so raw they actually kind of sucked. But so it goes to show you what a good producer could do with taking those songs and something well produced that was released in Kill 'Em All. Just so awesome.
Yeah. And talking about Johnny Sasula, who noticed Metallica at the first, who was head of the label Megaforce. I mean, for him to be able to get away from all the noise and focus on the songs, there is something going on here, because I've heard him talk about this in interviews. There is something going on here. I mean, they're not the greatest player at that time, but he heard something and he said, this is something else. I mean, this is gonna be great. And all the kids, I mean, I saw they had like Metallica Mondays during COVID when Lars he introduced, and I saw a show from Chicago in like mid 83 or something like that, and it's so raw, it's so heavy, and there Lars told the story that on this particular day when they played Chicago, James had just turned 20 years old. And you can see them hungry and angry and putting out all this music in front of people, and the crowd goes nuts every time. And it's something else. I mean, I just love this album. It's so great.
Yeah, and you know, this is where it all started, and then when you look at where they are now, you know, and you compare, it's like so night and day. And we've talked about this too, but I think you nailed it just a second ago when you said, you know, they were so angry back then in 1983. You know, they had all that young anger, angst kind of thing, almost punk like, right? Yeah. And now they're sitting pretty. They don't have the anger. They're not angry anymore. No. So they do nothing else matters.
but it's funny because I saw them a couple of times. Of course, my first show was 1986 on their Monster Puppets tour. But I saw like 3 or 4 shows on the Black Album tour, and they begin to fiddle a bit with more of the older stuff. It was still from mostly from And Justice for All, a bit from Ride Lightning, But moving along, some like 10 years later, I think it was 10 or 15, they played in Copenhagen, and they rearranged the whole set and played like most of the songs were from Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning and the Monster of Puppets. And
as it should be.
yeah, but hearing those, even though that they're more softer, more mature people today, not that angry, when they went into those songs, you can feel the energy. You can feel them taking this to heart and doing it. And every time I watch them do Hit the Lights and so forth, or Phantom Lord or Whiplash or whatever, it's real. For me, it's real. I mean, say what you will with the stuff from Black Album. Of course, I much rather listen to stuff from Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets, of course. But for the general public, they want Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matter, and I get that. But if they would have played songs from this album lukewarm with no interest at all, thinking that, oh, we need to get through this because we got some metalheads that wants to hear this, and we don't want to disappoint that one, and we don't want to disappoint the girl in the corner waiting for Nothing Else Matters. No, that's not the case. Because I remember my wife, Jenny, when she went with me and saw Metallica for the first time, she thought that they were all the Black Album, Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters, Unforgiven, and so forth. And she got a rude awakening, because that's like, I think it was like 2008, 2009 or something like that. And the set list, it was, and she didn't mention it at the time, but later on, it took a couple of years. We're sitting around talking about Metallica, and a friend of mine asked us, so you've seen Metallica? Oh, yeah, I've seen them. Oh, what do you think? It was torture. And I'm looking at it. What do you mean torture? You saw, I mean, you wanted to go. Yeah, but I was too afraid to tell you that I thought it was only Enter the Sandman and Nothing Else Matters. And they played a lot of stuff from both Kill 'Em All, Ride and Puppets, which and the energy is still there. I'm thinking that the three of them, of course, Cliff is dead and Jason is out. So, but the three of them still today, and with Robert playing with his fingers, he's that kind of a bass player. He's a phenomenal bass player, I think. And you can see them getting into those. They're not leaving this alone. It's not something that they just write off. We have to play this because the fans, they want to play it because they like it. They get up there on stage and they play Hit the Lights and they play fucking Whiplash, and they're going at it still today. And I think that's credit to them all the way, even though that the stuff that they put out today is, it's some of us are stuck in the 80s. But still,
I am stuck into good music, the era of good music. Oh,
there you go.
Right.
There you go.
There you go. So come on. Come on. There we go.
But it's always fun to watch Metallica play today and watch their live performances, because it still gets to me every time we hear Seek and Destroy or Mode of Breath or Jump in the Fire or Whiplash, and they don't do the same set list over and over again. They change it up, which I think is pretty cool, which Kiss doesn't do very often. I'm sorry to say, but it's cool.
No, Metallica's always put on a good show, man.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen them though. To be fair, I've not seen them since the Justice tour, because we know why. But
but you're missing out.
But every time that I've seen them, they've just 110%.
Yeah.
and they're a great band. Now, if you could only listen to one song on repeat from this album, what song would it be? You have to 24 hours of the same song off this album.
Seek and Destroy.
Seek and Destroy.
Yeah. You know why? Because when I was like 15 or 16 years old, or maybe I was older, I can't remember. I had to be older, 17. I don't know. I got to play with a guitar player who was really skilled, and he knew Seek and Destroy, Jump in the Fire, and by heart. So he played those songs on guitar, and that was my first experience with not playing like 4 chords up and down, trying to jam and write songs. He knew these songs. He knew the advanced stuff. And when we played Seek and Destroy, I was a drummer at the time. So we did Seek and Destroy, and we played that one like 100 times. And it gets me every time I listen to it. It takes me back to those days when I was a drummer and I met this guy, and we were a 3-piece band. It was a friend of mine who played bass, and I was playing drums, and this dude was singing and doing Seek and Destroy. And it's fucking nuts. I still to this day, when I listen to that song, so I had to pick that one. So and
great song.
Well, it is. So and if you when 24 hours on repeat,
24 hours on repeat.
Oh, okay.
It would have to be the Four Horsemen.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that
man.
is my favorite Metallica song. It's just I love that song. It's better than Mechanics. Sorry, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
I know they're essentially the same song with different lyrics, but Metallica did it better.
Choose your faith and die. Choose your faith and die.
Yeah. So gotta love the Four Horsemen.
Oh yeah, you can almost see them playing that song right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. Four Horsemen's going narrow, and I'll see that ride.
Yeah, it just I don't know, man. I've always, from the second I heard that song, that was just like, okay. And I think I did, when I talked about, when I brought this record home from my friend, I think that was one of the songs that I kept like moving it, picking up the needle, being very careful not to scratch the record because it's not mine, and trying to just to
and what a great friend who,
it was hard back in the old days to put stuff on repeat. It's not like it is today.
But what I was thinking, what a great friend who let you land his album for a whole week.
He didn't have a choice because I didn't want to give it up. He's like, "You got my record?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got it at home."
Oh yeah. And I was borrowing. I was borrowing stuff from friends which had older brothers, and they were sort of like outside the door waiting. So what are you doing with my album? Have you recorded it on cassette tape yet? I need it back. And
it's only a 40-minute record, and you've been in there for 43 minutes. Like, come on, let's go. Let's go.
It was like that. But once you had it on cassette tape, it was like, man, I played it, and
it's the good old days, man. We don't so much do that anymore, and I don't know if kids today do that because they've got the streaming stuff. So you can listen to whatever you want at any given point, and again, like I was saying, you could put that shit on repeat and just listen to.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool because I listened to a show on Swedish national radio where they talk about vinyl collecting being a huge part of people's life nowadays, and the kids going, "Oh, I think that's cool," but some of them, they just put it up on the wall and they still continue listening to it on Spotify. But they talk to a lot of record collectors and people that have done some research about what is it with people collecting albums and people like me. So what's the appeal? And it's the physical format. It's grabbing it and feeling it and pulling it out, and it's big, and you can hold it in your hands, and you put it on your turntable.
That's what she said.
And, oh, there you go. Damn. But it's collecting, it's feeling it. It's, for me, it's this format here.
Mm-hmm.
With the black vinyl like this, and holding it in my hands. And even, I'm so nerdy at, I think it's good to smell it and get the feel for it. It's real. I own it. I bought it with my own money. I met other people that maybe on a record fair or a flea market that comes, oh, so you found this one, and I found this one, and then you're standing there in the middle of a record fair and swapping out stories about which stuff that you found in your to be able to reduce your collection and buy some other stuff and get this one here, and you try to pick stuff out that you don't want anymore, and you're reducing stuff like that, and I tried to do this, but it didn't work. Now I got like 100+ albums with the mark I had. It's supposed to be 1,500 albums max, because I couldn't fit anymore. I had to reduce stuff, and now I'm like 200 over that. Yeah, I know the feeling, man. Fuck, it's crazy. I had to hide stuff in the closet for my wife or whatever, but it's the same stories. You got the same stories. You want to feel it. You want to pick it up like this, and
it gives you an experience that goes beyond the music, right?
Oh yeah.
That's in addition to the music, because you can listen to something on Apple Music or whatever, and you'll get that music, you'll get it. But like you were just saying, it's just the stories. It's almost a culture.
It is. It is
that it doesn't matter what where you live, but that culture's still there. Doesn't matter what your background is, you still have that culture that transcends anything.
Yeah.
And there is something different about streaming a song versus getting out a record, right?
Oh yeah.
And playing that. Before COVID, we were at a friend's house, and they have one of those old school, looks like it's a giant piece of furniture, right? It looks like a little mini desk almost. It's like this, with the speakers on each side, and we decided to break out a few vinyls after a few drinks, and so we whipped out Iron Butterfly, and Agata Davida, and just put that on, and it was just like, there was something about listening to that on an old stereo on vinyl that it's different. I can't really explain it. It's a whole different experience, even though for the most part it's just your ears. But I don't know. It's different. It's
but we talked about this before. It's a ritual. If you know what you had a few drinks, you had a meal, you're sitting down. This is your friends, and the guy says, "Hey, want to listen to some records?" Because that's a thing. Then you're moving into something completely different. Because maybe, just maybe, I don't know what happened at that dinner, but maybe the quality of the conversation went down a bit because you're all full from the dinner and so forth, and this is moving into something completely different because he thinks, well, Phil is a metalhead, I know he listens to music, so hey, how about listen to some records? And your mind goes, hell yes, and we can have a drinks in front of the turntable, and you're thinking, I've died and gone to heaven. Because this is it. Nice. You're holding this album in your hands. You have to pick it up. You have to use two hands. It's a piece of art. It's everything that you want it to be. But listen to that show on the radio the other day. It's people collect mushrooms. People collect stamps. we collect vinyl records.
Yeah.
It's only a bit more expensive, but still, it's a thing. You own it. You longed for it. You're trying to think, how the hell I'm going to fit all my albums? Do I have to downsize anything? Could my collection be any bigger? When is it time to? When do you have enough albums? There's a whole community that stands up for you. Said no, as long as you're happy, as long as you are happy buying stuff. I don't do drugs. I've never have. Of course I have a glass every now and then, but I put all my good earned money into vinyl records. I buy stuff because I want it. I want to feel it. And I want to look at the pictures with my own eyes. You see, I need glasses today, but still, I can see from afar. I can look at the picture and I know who they are. I can't look at the picture in my fucking phone over Spotify and watch this album come to life holding my phone. It's something I do when I ride a bus or I want to relax. Of course, I use streaming services because I'm on there myself, but I have to go buy this. I have to own a physical copy of an album. And I'm so fucking nerdy, so every time I hear a band that I like, I want to buy all the stuff. And there is people that I know that are in bands, and I'm having a hard time containing myself because I only want to talk about how great this album is, how great of a piece of art they did just released, and I don't want to put them off. I'm sort of like the creepy guy in the corner. I got all the albums. I recorded this. I got it on multiple copies, and I fucking love it. Yep. I got your T-shirt. I got your pin. I got everything, man. I'm trying to contain myself, but I'm such a fanboy. I mean, there's a band that we had on here a million times, it seems like, because they're great guys. Lion Thief Bandits. I'm a huge fan of that band. And I know Mike, the singer, is a friend of mine, but still, I'm just a fanboy. At the end of the day, I'm a fanboy. They released their latest album in red color vinyl and blue color vinyl, and now they're releasing the black one. So I have to get that one too. He just told me, so are you sure you want this? Yes. Okay. I put it on. So next time we meet, you get this. Yes, I want it. Fuck. We got a new T-shirt. I wanted that too. I want to show the world that this is a great band. And said, so do you think I'm crazy? No, you're enthusiastic. I mean, it's okay. It's good. Yeah,
but you know, that's the culture, right? I mean,
it is.
The big news over the last few weeks has been the Apple iPod is no more, right? They discontinued the iPod, and I was listening to these guys talking about this, and they're saying how Apple, with the iPod and iTunes, they were able to get bands to go, just put the song out. Not an album, but put a song out. And, you know, you could argue, well, that kind of killed music in a way. I don't think it did, but I do think it changed the way people experience music. They stopped listening to an album start to finish, right? It was about the single. You heard the single and you went and got the single for 99 cents. Very few people were buying the entire record. And I think that speaks to our generation, that we grew up with records. We grew up with albums. There was no such thing. I mean, you could get 45s, but even then you got a song on the other side.
Yeah.
So it was always, you know, but singles weren't that big of a thing when we were growing up. You know, you heard it on the radio and you went and bought the record, you know, and you got all 8, 10, 12 songs, whatever was on it.
Yeah.
and you banged your head and you had a good time, and that's what it was. These days, it's not really that way. I still listen to stuff that way, but
yeah, me too.
you know, I like listening to records start to finish. That said, I also love putting playlists together of different stuff, different music, and going through,
too.
right? And taking that experience to a level that we couldn't do before, except for compilation records.
Yeah.
You know, from like K-Tel. You guys have K-Tel over there?
No. I know
we
what
used
it
to have
is,
these commercials, you know, where you'd have to, it was like all the different kinds of songs, you know. And
yeah.
It was all shit like Journey and Foreigner and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
But
it's funny that you mentioned it because I mean a couple of bands that releases only single songs and so forth, but it's mostly has to do with that we want to put something out there because we want to get people to listen to it so they can show up to see watch us play live. But every now and then when I discover a new act, I listen to it on Spotify or whatever, and immediately when I put that on my playlist and I put my headphones on, I ride a bus to work or I'm out for a walk, and I listen to that album more than 2 times. If I think it's that good, then I go out and buy the album. And then I want to know everything about that artist. I want to know about their past records. I want to know if they got some merch or whatever. So I'm using Spotify in this instance to get a feel for the artist. Is this worth my time nowadays? Because there is so much music out there. It's not
and so much bad music.
Yeah, and it's not like when you and I growing up that we knew that most of the bands that released albums were like in fact very good, and you can listen to it on the radio. You can listen to it at your friend's brother's mother's house or whatever, because they got the album, and then you had your ways to get to a house or to a friend or whatever, so you can listen to that, and you had to ride around to find out. Oh my God, Metallica just released their new album. Who has got it? Because I haven't got the money. So you have to go from house to house just to get a snippet of what was going on, and then you went out as soon as you got your money, weekly allowance. You put it all into the records. And nowadays, I can just pop up my headphones and listen to it right there, and then go out and buy the album. So I'm much older now. I can't afford to ride my bike to different houses anymore. But still, it's owning a piece of art, owning a piece of physical stuff. That's the way to go.
That's what it's all about.
If you don't have this one, you should go and get it. I'm holding it up because we are on video nowadays. So this is Metallica, Kill 'Em All. Go out and buy this freaking album right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
All right. And speaking of new music, we've got new music. Speaking of new music and listening and buying and discovering and having a fucking good time, we've got a very special treat for you today. We have got brand new music from the band Dead Anarchy.
Oh.
Now, Mike, have you ever heard of Dead Anarchy? You ever heard of these guys?
It's funny because Phil and I talked about this a million times, and now we get to do this together, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. So I'm putting you on the spot here with Shot Glass Records, but it's I'm gonna talk about Dead Anarchy a bit. During COVID, I'm in a band called Grand Reserva, and we rehearse at a place with a couple of friends. We got multiple rooms, and we got a lounge and so forth. So it's a daycare for the adults, if you will. But we're there and creating music. We got 2 different studios, and we're recording all the time and rehearsing. So and with the respect to people in those bands, some of us had a bit of a scare when COVID hit, of course. So people didn't want to go down to the rehearsal space or the studio. And some of us had to work still. So we met up and said, and this is friends from some other bands that are down there. We're a bunch of friends. I think we're 10 to 12 people altogether. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be fun to just play a couple of cover songs when we're all here together, just to jam, to do a rehearsal? Because everybody was just sitting with the guitars and in front of the studio board and trying to record stuff with the digital drums and so forth. So wouldn't it be cool to take one of the rehearsal space and just jam on a couple of cover songs? So we did. It's 2 guys from a band called Team Anarchy, and me and Thijs from Grand Reserva, the guitar player. So the 4 of us got together and jammed on some Ramones tunes, Sex Pistols, the Misfits, and Dead Boys and so forth. And all of a sudden, the guy Michael from Team Anarchy said, well, I got some songs that I've written. Should we look at those? And I said, sure, let's go. Because I can't write lyrics at all, he said. So you have to do that part. And I said, I'm down. So we started this out as a project, and it became a band. And we decided to split it up and said we don't want it to call it Grand Reserva, and we don't want to call it so how about we do something different and just because it's sort of like punk and roll. It's a bit of punk music, it's a bit of rock and roll, it's a bit of everything that summons up the stuff that we listen to. So we did, and we decided to call it Dead Anarchy. And this is our first original song that we ever did together. We started out with a cover by the Misfits called Attitude, and this is the original Sin. Here we go.
Fucking hell.
You see?
Such an awesome song. Such an awesome song. I mean, you can't not rock out to that song. You just, I mean, you have to. I mean, if you don't, if you just sat there and just like, okay, there's something wrong. There's something wrong because that song's all full of kick ass.
Yeah. And to be able to hear you say that, and then you decided that you're going to start that record label that you talked about so many times before, so many years, and all of a sudden you decided that Dead Anarchy should be like the first release from your record company, and you and I are friends, and this is like, it's like you're in the band. it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy, but it's
I was born without any musical talent, so but I've always been a huge music fan. Even when I was a little kid, 6, 7 years old, whatever, playing Matchbox cars in my room, I'd have the radio on and listen to the old, what's now called classic rock. Although these days Guns N' Roses is considered classic rock, but yeah, and to meet guys that play music and talk to them, and you and I have become friends since way back when we had Fibble, and we had you, I had you on my Lighthouse Rock show back in the day, and to be able to release music on our own label, right? To have a label. We've got Boozehound Music, which does all kinds of licensing, and then we've got Shot Glass Records, which is part of that. And it's just a tiny little label. It's nothing huge. It's nothing big. But yeah, this on Friday the 13th, we released The Original Sin by the Dead Anarchy, and it was it was such an honor to do that, and it was just I could go on, but I won't.
Yeah,
but it's for me, it's such a thrill to do that. For me, it's probably the same kind of thrill that you get playing the music.
Oh yeah,
I get to help bring that to the masses, and all that, and then playing it on the show tonight. Hopefully everybody loved that song because it's a great song. It's a great band, and the song Attitude, the Misfits cover was fucking. I knew when I heard that the original stuff was going to be even better. So, and you guys didn't disappoint at all. So
cool. I'm just happy we could do this collaboration together. I mean, it means the world to me, and have you in our corner. It's great, and hopefully more music from Dead Anarchy in the future. So, but there we go.
Oh,
you can check us out on Facebook, Dead Anarchy Sweden with SWE, and you can check us out on Instagram and get the lowdown on what's going on with us
and all the streaming platforms. Go listen.
Oh yeah, all the streaming.
We'll have links in the description and everything. So,
all right,
as always,
cool.
All right, and with that, I guess it's time to say goodbye.
It is.
Time to say goodbye. So with that, go spin some records, have some fun, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, later.
Later.